Welcome back, my friends. We are here in a new replay commentary from a Hero League game, I think a week ago or something. This is actually a very interesting one because we have a couple of things that didn't go so well, but it's also a very long game on Infernal Shrines, which I think is fun because this game shows you how to come back when you're behind, but also that you have to close out games when you can, which the enemy team didn't, but we get to that. I want to preface this by saying, like, I made a lot of mistakes in this game, but the enemy also drafted some good lineup against us. So we have Thrall, Malfurion, that's me, Jaina, Raynor, and Merlin. And on the enemy team, you will see that there's no solo laner. So they drafted Genji, Diablo, Mephisto, Tracer, and Ana, which is basically 3 range assassins. I've said this multiple times in the past. I don't think it's a very good setup. I don't think that 3 range assassins is very good. You definitely should consider drafting 2 melees. There can be 2 tanks. It can be like we have a tank and a melee assassin. It just helps, in my opinion, later on to soak some of the damage, and we'll figure out how it goes. So I'm going to go down here. I'm letting Merlin die because I can't really do anything about that. He was very low, and even with the Moonfire heal I couldn't have done anything. Well, now I don't see anything and get dismounted, so I'm backing up a little bit, put a heal on myself, and mount up. This is what you can do, especially in the early game. You just like soak the lane. I'm just standing here. My damage from the ability is not that high. Moonfire doesn't do that much damage to minions. My auto attacks don't do that much damage. Now that a couple of people have died, and Thrall is rotating, I'm starting auto attacking. The reason I'm staying on the mount is that I can escape more easily, and just like I'm harder to gank. That's the main reason. I'm getting dismounted here, or I dismount. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's something that happened throughout the game. I'm not properly mounted. What is this? The Mephisto, I think, obviously it's the first week of Mephisto still. Well, it was the first week of Mephisto, so obviously people don't play that super well with him. But he was doing a lot of mistakes. Here I'm making a mistake because I'm looking mid and bottom, and I'm seeing Raynor being out of position in the middle of the map. He shouldn't be like that. You can see Tracer now on the top, and I'm just gonna click on this to show it to you. So Tracer shows up here, but you could have also showed up here together with Genji and Diablo. Like, we actually don't see anybody on the map. So being this up front is a mistake by the Raynor. You should like just soak here, like be a little bit further away. It's still dangerous because you don't have vision here. So you can either decide like go into the bush on the mount, or stay a little bit further back and attack these 2 minions. You still get this minion here, the XP, so that's not going to be an issue for you. But you're just out of position. And I'm looking at this, and you can see it from my vision here. And I completely missed that Genji and Tracer are up here, so my Jaina dies. And I said my bad in chat because I felt like I could have paid more attention to this. That being said, it's very funny because I'm so focusing on other people's positioning mistakes, or where they're positioning, that I'm doing this now. So I'm getting the globe, and I'm rotating down now because I want to help with the camp, and it's time for it. Like, it's 2 minutes 20, meaning in 10 seconds the shrine will activate, or the warning will activate, and then in 30 seconds at the 3-minute mark the shrine will activate. So I don't see anybody, and I'm doing a pretty normal rotation, but you'll see what happens to me. Genji shows up, Tracer shows up, and I'm dead. So this is something that is very well done by the enemy team, and they don't do it that often anymore. I was a little worried after this that they would continue doing this because it's a very effective strategy. Fortunately for us, they didn't do it, and they also don't have great wave clear on their team, so them doing it constantly actually is pretty bad because they can't clear waves quickly enough to handle this. If you look at their lineup, before we continue, Mephisto has pretty poor wave clear for a mage. It's one of the things that people say is a downside of him. Genji has very, very poor wave clear at the early game. You can get good wave clear with an E, with a swift strike through the minion line if you get it straight through. That's fine. Tracer needs to wait until level 13 for Bullet Spray to kick in. Very, very poor wave clear until then. And then Ana's support does have very little wave clear as well. So Diablo is fine, kind of like, he's I think one of the better tanks, but it also takes him quite a while. So they overall have very, very bad wave clear, and they also have very, very bad shrine clear. So those ganks are actually very good for them because it just removes us from the map, and that means that they have more time to wave clear. Talents wise, I went for Rejuvenation on 1 and then Deep Roots on 4. Rejuvenation just because of the Mephisto heroic, but also the trickle damage from the Tracer attacks. They don't do that much anymore, so having a little bit of heal on you as a Malfurion is actually very helpful. And let's see this pop up now. One last pause here at the beginning of the game. Thrall took very, very bad talents here. First one is Crash Lightning. He wanted to stack this early on. We just look at this. He has 2 stacks now. We're going to check in later. And then he goes Frost Wolf Pack here, and then he goes the Wind Fury Quest on 7, if I remember correctly. That's a very bad talent choice overall, because he's a solo laner. He's supposed to be solo laning, and he has 0 quests that help him do that. So, so his pick is a little negated by his talent choices. We could have probably had Thrall dominate the solo lane pretty easily. He's very difficult to gank. He has speed, he heals himself, so he's rather safe, and he does do it. Now the first shrine is on, and we are in a pretty good position. Our early game was good. We have a half a level lead, and now we get a kill and get level 7, so this will be non-contested. And this is to be expected because honestly, the early game of the enemy team is not very strong. They have very little wave clear, and the only thing that they can really do is like try to get the kill like this on somebody who's out of position, and they can, I don't want to even call it burst without the Tracer Bomb, but basically just like sustain them down over the heal that I can provide. And the early game with Malfurion is pretty strong here in this case, because again, a lot of their damage is more trickle. I don't know if this trickle is the correct word, but they don't have a lot of like flashy burst damage that's coming out that negates a lot of my regrowth healing. I pick up Nature's Cure on level 7, and I think it's the wrong talent choice here in this game. First of all, I don't use it more than once, I think, this fight, which means I basically have a useless level 7 talent. And then second of all, they don't have that many stuns and roots. It doesn't remove the sleep from Ana, and it only removes the stun from Diablo, which is very difficult to cleanse anyway, because he's gonna just, you know, pull you over afterwards anyway, so removing a stun only gives you a little bit of relief. Here I'm out of mana now, so I'm a little worried about everything. The good thing is we just killed the Diablo, which means that we are even further ahead now because they don't have the souls on him. He's less tanky. And I have to tap here now because I have very, very little mana. As you can see, the fights are ongoing very long. There's like very sustained fights going on forever. So basically, Wild Growth would have been probably the better level 7 talent, to be honest. Just for the reason that it extends regrowth, so I don't have to constantly regrowth everybody else. So let's have a quick check-in. We're now nearly level ahead because the enemy team is just more fighting than doing anything else. Again, they need to fight because they don't have wave clear. So from here on out, we're a little bit ahead now. I'm going to get level 10 from these towers here and have a pretty good start to this game. We also scale pretty well. Reyna does a lot more damage late game. Jaina, when she has Ice Block, is more safe. Very nice dodge by the Genji here, by the way. Let's have a look at this because I want to highlight this. It's actually very, very good what he does. So as you should know, you can pull the Punisher over the wall and close to the fort. In this case, at the moment, it only gets shot by 2 towers, and the minions are also taking a lot of the damage away, depending on when they arrive. So now what he does is he walks in, he throws some shuriken, and then he can E out. Before, as you can see, the impact is not there yet. He E's out, doesn't get stunned, and now the Punisher is attacked by the fort. That was very well done by him. And that's what you should be doing with high mobility characters. Unfortunately for them, we have level 10, so they can't really fight into us very easily, but they're using a lot to clear up the Punisher, and that's a good idea. My team is doing well. They actually grabbed another kill. I was a little worried here to continue, but it is what it is. My reason for deep roots, by the way, is that the entrances are very big here on Infernal Shrines, and I felt like they have a lot of elusive heroes. Like Mephisto is not super mobile, but he definitely also has, you know, the situations where he can jump in and out and stuff like that. And then Genji and Tracer are just super mobile, as well as especially with Diablo as well, who just charges in, so they just like charge after him, meaning that the roots that I want to put down are more like zoning and then trying to block entrances. They can't walk into the bushes and everything. That was my thought process. It didn't work out very well, to be honest. I don't hit that many roots this game. I don't do a lot of follow-up with them, but it's mostly because I feel threatened all the time. Without the ice block on 13, now you are a good target for everything, and they have very good dive again, so interesting. So now they caught up on level 12, sorry, on level 10, and we're level 12, so we have 2 level lead, 1.5 levels, and this is where the Consume Souls comes into play. This is considered to be like super strong heroic, and like some people think it's overpowered, but you will see a couple of applications here which show you that you can outplay it. And another thing that you should be seeing from this is that you should try to interrupt it as a Muradin. I think he doesn't get the chance to do it that often, but yeah. Their team does the correct thing. They immediately go on us when they have level 10, and then they find good targets here everywhere basically, and they actually do a lot of damage to us, and they kill 4 people. We get a counter kill against Tracer, but this is exactly what you should be doing when you are behind, but only a level's not tier. If you look at it, they're now just only maybe 3/4 level behind, and that's because they just killed 4 people of us, and that's really well done. It also allows them to soak more XP. As you can see, they soak mid and they soak bottom, meaning that for them it's very easy now to soak up further XP to get even closer to us while we lose XP. You can see top lane, the red wave is pushing in. I'm going to lose that if we don't take care of that. And we're deciding now to take this camp with Raynor, and Jaina goes straight to the minions. That was very well communicated by our team. The camp is important because the shrine is mid, so we don't want to miss that out, the pressure that we can get from this. Jaina, again, is a little bit out of position because their team is so dive heavy. You can probably like even be further away and just let this wave push in. There's no need, like we're 13, there's no need to be this far front, especially after we've seen that they do gank and stuff like that. So it's important that you understand these things and react to them properly, because you will see that she will now get ganked again, I think, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'm incorrect. Then it's a later situation. If it's now, I don't know. I can't remember. But overall, like, we don't see anybody on the map, so it's important for us to play a little bit more defensively. Good thing is our Muradin is playing super well this game. He's playing a lot for vision, which means that it allows us to follow up a lot. And this time I think I played this very well. I didn't panic and activate Tranquility immediately, which means we have this still going on. Okay, now she gets ganked. I can remember this now, because she clears the camp, and I give her mana, but I don't give her a heal for some reason. I think she might have gone out of range when I gave her mana, and I couldn't give her a heal. But now she gets ganked by Genji. And they use Dragon Blade, and then they actually use Consume Souls, which is I think is a mistake here, because the kill is nice, you get 13, but you're again behind now because you lost a couple of people and you don't soak very well. And now you also use the heroic that has a long cooldown of 120 seconds, so. The good thing is for them, they want to fight a lot. And we're going to look at this and see how well they fight actually in this whole team fight. I was so sad when I died there and didn't get the kill. Let's have another look at this from the perspective of what's going on. So we are at 37 skulls and they killed Jaina. So they're 5 versus 4 and they're on the same talent here. So fighting is very... is like, they want to fight. The red team wants to fight even though the Punisher spawns, because if they can get a couple of kills here, and you can see the Muradin is pretty low, well, not pretty low, but he's half health. The Thrall is in a bad position, and they know that we used Avatar already, so they go in. They miss the bomb here, which is a mistake, and a pretty hefty one because it doesn't allow them to kill Muradin here. So now the Punisher spawns, which is an issue because it will jump soon. But they go on the low health target, which is really good. Genji has very little mana, so that's an issue for them. So now I pop Tranquility, but I don't have a heal on myself, and the heal on Muradin just expired. So I put another heal on him. It's a little too late, and I can't get Moonfire healing out. So now I have the problem that I don't have a heal on myself. And what I should have done is just move behind here so that he doesn't have vision on me. I don't know if it would have worked because vision is a little bit finicky sometimes, where it continues to give vision even though you're behind something. So it probably wouldn't have done anything, but I should definitely win this trade here. He gets the flames off, and then while we get the Diablo and the souls, we also lose again the Thrall. So they had like basically 4 kills on us. That means that the Punisher, while he gets the fort, won't do any more damage. And we were 13 talent here on both sides, so it's not that it would have been expected to get keep or whatever, but if we were all alive and if Jaina was just respawning right now, we probably could have gotten a little bit more of an advantage out of it. The Consume Souls, I think if they had used it later on, they would have gotten a cleaner team fight. And maybe even not lost the fort. I don't know. The fort was I think already under siege. So okay, so we're now on 13 and 16 talent here. I went for hindering Moonfire on 13. I'm not a huge fan of Nature's Swiftness on 13. I think it's not that great as a defensive tool, and I like hindering Moonfire because we're playing against Anna, who struggles to get away because she doesn't have an escape, and if I hit her, we can get a couple of Moonfires on her and we can slow her. On 16 go Moonlight Harmony. I just want to have more Moonfire heals out directly. Nature's Balance would have also been an issue, a possibility. I personally just like to get a little bit more oomph out of my heals for Moonfire, but it's definitely you know, I think Nature's Balance has a better win rate or something. I'm not quite sure, but I just like, or I liked it in this case better as my choice. So now we're talent tier ahead again. The enemy team is always like keeping close, but they don't really get very close. And this time I get a good root off here on the Mephisto, and he escapes. And I was very, very sad about this because I felt like we were doing well, and then we just missed a very easy kill here because we didn't pay attention, I think. enough. That being said, the Ana also did a great job on healing and doing stuff. Okay, let's have a quick check-in on our Thrall, because I just want to show you that sometimes an idea in your head is not as good as the reality is going to be. Or actually, the reality is not as good as your idea in the head, you know, said it would be. You can see he only has 13 seconds of crash lighting, so he's not even half way there. He's at 30 minutes, halfway, not even close. He finished Frostwolf pack, which is cool, but the mana attack is much better on level 4, so I just don't think this is really good. And then you can see the Maelstrom weapon, he is only on 21 attacks, so you just got the movement speed bonus on Wind Fury, which is not very helpful because they don't have that many slows on them, so the movement speed is not doing a lot. But you get Thunderstorm nearly stacked, so that's really good, because that slow will help us chase people down. So yeah, his talent choices actually made the game much harder for us, I think. This now, I don't know who pings this, because that's going to be my eternal question for this game. We're 17 versus 15, so they're close to 16, and we're invading their hard camp, and that's what it's a huge mistake, and it's going to go horribly wrong. Obviously, the Meridian makes the correct play here and plays for vision, but our Thrall should be the person that goes into the pit, not the Jaina. Jaina has very little health. She hasn't finished her ice block yet. She's very close, but she hasn't finished it yet. So now the enemy team obviously knows what we're doing, because we're off the map. There's not that many objectives going on. So now they see Meridian here, and they know that we're here. I'm now struggling to get regrowth on everybody. I have one up here, and I want to put it on Meridian, and I have to chase him here a little bit. And that's just like so unfortunate, because I'm going to be out of position because of it. So now I'm going to go back, but Diablo's going to come in here, and I'm like in a weird position here. They now focus on the Meridian. Avatar goes on. I put Tranquility, but I don't have Ice Block myself anymore. But as you can see here, this is how they should use their abilities. This was very well done. Let's go back and just see how strong their composition is, and with this. So Avatar goes on. And now look at Lightning Breath from Diablo and Mephisto's Consume Soul. Tranquility goes on. I think failed to put Moonfire, put Regrowth on myself. Yeah, I don't. Now I put Regrowth on. It's way too late. It's very, very late. So now Consume Souls comes out. Jaina now has Ice Block. She uses it. And Consume Souls is also empowered by Nano Boosts here now. So this is the new snapshotting, remember. So spell power is now happening, or is calculated as soon as the impact happens. So with Nano Boost now, it means that Consume Souls is still affected, even though he has already started casting it. So you will see how it pops me, and I had like a lot of HP still left, and then obviously Genji just clears up. Let's see how many HP I lose here. Again, I'm wrecking very slowly here. I don't have regrowth on myself when I Moonfire, which is a mistake. So now I'm at 822 life, and I just pop. 822 is not that much, but let's have a look at my death counter. Yeah, it basically just kills me. It has 167 overkill. And they wipe us completely. So now they're ahead, basically. We don't get any kills of them. And the camp was not worth it. Like, there's no way in any situation where this is a good idea. So I don't know who pinged it or why we pinged it, but the call is a mistake. And you should just like remember that if you're ahead this small amount of XP, it's not worth it. And basically the red team now gets full control over the map. Unfortunately for them, they still can't really clear waves that quickly, so we still have vision a lot here on bottom or mid. And Diablo, I think he's missing souls still, right? No, actually he has full souls now, so it doesn't really matter what he's doing, but he's clearing up. It's smart. And they're doing the right thing here by clearing up the fort so that they can go towards keep with the Punisher. For them now, it's obviously difficult because they just used all of their heroics, so if we come in now and try to fight, it's going to be interesting. Armor then actually gets a really good engage up here, and we just can't follow up. Great sleep, and yeah, we can't get it. But as you can see, they only have 22 skeleton defenders, so we actually have a fight here because we're on the same talent here. This time there's no consume souls. Great ice block by the Jaina. Unfortunately, we lose Thrall here in the making because I'm focusing too much on the backline heal here. But we're not giving up here, and I think it's the right thing. We used a couple of heroics, and you can see they're still at only like 30 skulls, so we have a little bit of time to fight here. Unfortunately, now we're doing a couple of things. Like Raynor wants to chase here. Merlin is like on the shrine doing the skulls. It's like we don't really know what we're doing, and it's getting increasingly frustrating because we don't do anything. So I'm pinging, hey, let's do the shrine, and then Merlin goes in, and we go back, and it's like back and forth, and it's just not very decisive, or not decisive enough. So Consume Souls is up again, which obviously then is an issue. Also gets nano boosted, and we just die again. Staying there, you could say it's an overstay because we lost already the Thrall, but again, they didn't have a lot of wave clear here for the shrine, so us staying is, I think, the correct call. We just didn't decide what we wanted to do. We kind of did like both. I was on the shrine, and then Raynor was like chasing, and then Murden went on the shrine and then went off the shrine to chase again, and then Raynor went off on the shrine, and it's like, ugh. And I said in chat here, and you can't see that, but I said to Murden, like, you need to make the decision. Like, you need to be the person who makes the decision, because our damage dealers were like afraid. Like, they didn't know what to do, and it's oftentimes very, very useful to just have the tank make a decision, and then everybody just follows what he's doing. Another 20. We should give up this keep. There's no reason for us to fight around this. Now the Punisher is down, and we know that they don't have Consume Souls. So we try to go in. I use Tranquility here to just like keep us topped off. And then I just die again because it's just a bad fight. 20 versus not 20. Not a very smart decision. And they had a couple of heroics up, I think. So us just going in, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also, my positioning was really bad because I tried to like get a root on because I haven't done, you know, proper rooting, and it's getting a little frustrating because we're losing so much. So I'm losing a little bit of my composure and making mistakes. So now they get a kill on Merlin. They have our keep, and Merlin is on for 58 and I'm down for 16, so the red team makes the smart choice to get the keep. I personally think they could have gone for core here because they have the minion wave coming as well, but they decide not to do it. And I mean, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I think it would have been a good time to fight. They also have Consume Souls up, and they have Nano Boost up soon. So timing that a little bit might have been a good idea to get a fight around the core, but they decide to not do it. The good thing for us is that the next shrine is not going to be top, obviously. So we can get a good pressure relief with the camp against the catapults. If you don't know, the shamans actually have enough DPS with the dogs that they actually de-push catapult lanes. So if you have this camp, it can basically save your butt because it just allows you to ignore that lane. Okay, quick check-in. Now it's at 17 stacks for Thrall on Crash Lightning. He only got 4 stacks in the last couple of minutes. Really not the progress you want. And also Wind Fury has only 32 stacks. So I want to harp on this a little bit because the game is now 20 minutes long nearly, and basically Thrall doesn't have a level 7 talent activated. Obviously, the talent gives you damage bonus. So it is 17 damage bonus here, or I guess like something about 150 or something like that. But it's not done yet. Also, by the way, I should here put Regrowth on Jaina and then Cleanser. And I do it. Oh, I did it actually. The Earthquake actually isn't that bad. It looks a little weird, but it doesn't allow the Genji and the Tracer to follow up. So it's actually pretty okay. We get level 20 here now, and we used a couple of heroics in form of the Earthquake and the Water Elemental. But fighting here is not that bad. On 20 I go for the increased tranquility power, simply because I want to have something that can help against the consumed soul. And I get a cool root here on the Mephisto, but our team focuses him a little bit, but it doesn't really work out, and then I panic and push tranquility because I assume that he will consume our souls as soon as he's out of danger. I get another good root up here against him, but my team is focusing too much on the Diablo, which then doesn't allow us to follow up on this. And now we kind of traded all of our heroics and nothing happened, but as you can see, top lane, the shaman and the dogs really push out everything. It's such a strong thing, and you just have to remember that, like, if you have a top lane here on this map, and you can get the shamans to prevent the catapults pushing in your nexus, that's just really good. Like, just always keep that in mind. Time it if you can, but we didn't time it that well, and it just worked out super good for us. So now we are in a better position again because we have better wave clear. We have already 20 skeletal defenders. I can spread my regrowth here, and the Diablo also doesn't get the same amount of value. I think here, yeah, it's very clear. You can see that the nano boost wasn't ready when he used Consume Souls, so the Jaina survives. That's the only reason that she survives there, otherwise she would have been dead. Good escape by our Thrall. We get the souls of the Diablo, and then the Genji again is a little bit too aggressive. Mephisto gets nano boosted, and now I was so angry about this. So we root in here, and I walk into the stupid lightning nova, and then we just die, and then the Thrall just runs away. And I don't understand, like, I was so angry about this. Because obviously I was already upset about his build and his very little progress he was making with it. And then I make a really bad mistake by staying in the Nova for so long. But, like, honestly, the Mephisto has to die there. So I was just like, eh. Thrall here also, like, very unlucky because he doesn't get the jump off on this chain, I think. Like, as you can see here, like, chain just doesn't jump here. So he's a little bit unlucky as well. It's not only that he took a talent that is very hard to stack, but also, like, on a couple of occasions he's like, well, I pushed the button, but it doesn't happen. So again, the red team makes a good effort here to keep themselves in the game. If we got the Punisher with all 5 alive, we probably could have ended it here. But they get a couple of kills, which then allows them to defend it very easily, and nothing happens. Here the Thrall, that's something that you should really avoid. Even if you have, like, Earthquake up and Wind Fury and stuff like that, and you can escape in most situations, late game deaths are so punishing that it's not worth your quest. Like, it's your level 4 quest, sorry, your level 1 quest. It's not worth it. Like, just don't hassle with that. If you get your quest, awesome, like you get a little more damage and, you know, priority on heroes and everything. But I've also seen it with, like, people that try to stack Nazebo quests where they, like, desperately farm minions super late into the game. It's not worth it. Like, just let it be a bad game, learn from it. Maybe don't take the talent again, or you know, change your approach or something. But don't try to, like, late game stack against 5 enemy heroes that are alive. So now we're a little bit lucky as well, because the next shrine now is again top, meaning that if we defend it, they don't have any Punisher going towards our core. If the shrine was, like, for example, mid or bottom, it would have been more difficult because obviously the catapults were pushing it. We don't see anybody on the map, so we're just a little bit defensive posturing here. Now we see Genji, and we know exactly what's happening. They're going to clear up the top, and I'm just going to try to put regrowth on everybody. And then I'll rotate very defensively because I'm worried about exactly this. This time, I want to see what happened here because both heroics were ready. I just want to look into the Anna perspective because that's what I was wondering when. Where is she? There she is. Because it's perfect for them. Here you go. So she gives it just like, for some reason, to Genji. Because if she had it on Mephisto, he probably would have killed the Thrall here. And Genji's using Dragon Blade, so that means that while his Dragon Slashes do a lot of more damage, it's his only ability that he uses, so it's not that effective. So we get a couple of kills here. This is late game consume souls, so it's, I want to say, pretty strong, but as you can see, they never had the impact without the nano boost. And now I made this call. For some reason, I say like we can go core via bottom, and I don't know why I said it, but it will be, well, it will turn out that it's actually a good call in the end, but it actually doesn't make any sense. We should have gone just mid. Mid has a minion wave pushing in already, so we don't have to bother with like clearing up this and have like the minions do so much damage to us. Because as you can see, they're attacking me all the time. And then there's no way with our pretty decent damage and good wave clear that we get keep and core. So I don't know why I made the call. I didn't rewatch the VOD, but like I was streaming this game, and I was very confident in my call of this, and I don't know why. But the good thing is we get keep, and it's also a keep that is far away from the shrine. So from that perspective, it's really good for us because we basically have pressure on the lane that is not the shrine lane. So Genji just wants to delay us here so that they can get pressure from this, and it's like 3 catapults going on, and luckily for us this will not end the game for us because it actually could. Again, consume souls not ready. It's a very long cooldown, and now everybody's pinging. We're trying to get back here, and the Mephisto actually does a lot of stuff and gets healed by the Anna. But Thrall is back, and now he's going to clear up the catapults. We actually have the follow-up. And now finally I get to use Hindering Moonfire on Anna and actually do stuff. She gets rooted because she heals the Genji, which is a mistake. There you go. Good stun, because otherwise that would have died. And now it's game. So let's have a last look at the team fight that basically decides the game, because what they're doing is smart, but the execution is pretty bad. So we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go out of my vision and just look at the whole vision of the whole thing. So Genji and team realize that there's 3 catapults pushing up here. That's really good, but there's also a very long wave until the next catapult. So this is gonna take a long time before this happens. 2 and 3 catapults at like 25 minutes are gonna easily finish the core. Easily. Like if you don't pay attention, this will easily finish the core. So now they're all chasing us because it's completely correct. They want to prevent us from going back and getting this. So whoever made the call on their side, very well done. The issue now is, here we should have, or just punish this. Like there's no way that you can get away, by the way. So that's already a bad mistake for us. But now the enemy team is coming. But if you look at the heroics, they don't have Dragon Blade yet. They don't have Consume Souls, but they have everything else. Nano Boost. I think this means she has it. Let's have a look at Tracer. Does she have it? I think she has it, yeah. She has a Pulse Bomb as well. So, they engage into us. The engage into the Merlin is not very good for the Diablo. He also is missing his souls, I think. Yeah, so he's not very tanky. But he wants to do is basically, he wants to charge into our team and then Fire Breath so that we're slowed down and that Consume Souls can happen. Unfortunately, this has still 20-second cooldown. For us, everything is ready. Tranquility is ready, Earthquake is ready, Water Elemental, everything. Everything is there. So now Fire Breath comes out. Also Thrall is still stacking, by the way. There's no progress in that. So here's the Fire Breath, but look how much damage the Tracer Ray taking. Like, look at this. This is just so bad. Because she's in the middle of everything. Everybody's using everything, so she just gets deleted, basically. That was really unfortunate. And then Diablo without any souls doesn't really tank that damage that well either. And suddenly you're already like 3 versus 5. Really bad. The nano boost goes out, but there's still no consume souls. And now you just get chased. And then we have a very good reaction. I think Genji could have probably stopped this teleport, and we might have been in further danger here. But Thrall comes back and clears us up. And now we're just like 2 versus 4. I have Hindering Moonfire. I don't use Regroup that well here. They missed the snowball. And we just like win it from this point on. Dragon Blade comes online just only now. So the idea of stopping us was good. But I think just if they don't fully engage into the fight and just like, you know, dance around with us and try to interrupt our teleports, it would have been better. Obviously, it's also a little bit of luck. You know, if let's say like Consume Souls is used like 20 seconds earlier the last time that they're using it, that's just game, right? Because they can nano boost the Consume Souls and probably do like a lot of damage to us, and we can't do anything against it except, you know, pull our heroics. But as you can see, or as you saw before, nano boosted Consume Souls is really, really strong. Okay, before this turns over to the end screen, gonna have a look at the talents, so you can look at the other heroes if you want to copy anything. Please don't copy the Thrall build. Like, it's the issue that I have with this build is not that it's like, oh, you know, it's not meta or whatever. If you draft it like this and you draft the Thrall in here, he's not a solo lane anymore if you pick it like this. But everybody expects you to be solo lane because of the way that we drafted, right? So for example, if you already have a solo laner and you play on a 2-lane map and you pick Crash Lighting, that's totally fine, because you're just like, okay, I'm going to be the melee guy on the bottom lane and do things. This doesn't help you at all in the solo lane, so that's a big issue. And then as you can see, his level 1 and level 7 talent, they were never done. And again, they do already give you a little bit of advantage when you stack them, but basically for the whole game, and we're like 27 minutes in, he doesn't have a level 1, level 7 quest finished. And that's just not good. Like, that's not good enough. Like, you need to be able to finish these if you pick them. If you don't pick them, it's easier because you have mana right here, which means you just get mana whenever you hit your Ancestral Wrath. Well, not Ancestral Wrath, your whatever it's called, your trait activates, you get mana back. Passive. Level 7, you get Ancestral Wrath. Really good against Diablo because it does a percentage damage, and the only thing you have to do is cast spells. You can cast more spells because you have more mana. And if you go Echo for Elements here on level 1, you have 2 lightning, so you can more easily stack Thunderstorm later on. I think like Grace of Air is kind of fine. You normally take the heal because you're more self-sustaining yourself, but it's fine. But please don't copy this if you're the solo lane Thrall. That's just my like humble request for you. Other than that, everything is pretty normal. I don't know the Mephisto build. I don't play Mephisto. I have no idea here what's going on. Looking at stats, Raynor just like outdid himself. He played, I think, the best in this whole game. I mean, he's basically present for all the kills. Has the most siege damage, has the most hero damage on our team. Only overshadowed by Mephisto's hero damage. That being said, I think a lot of this is not... like, this is just like damage that happens, but it's not really doing anything to kill things. And then you can see like the XP soaked is by Diablo. That should never happen in this, because obviously you need a solo laner or somebody else who soaks XP. That being said, they made do. As you can see, Tracer, Genji both did a lot of wave clearing, so they made do with what they had. As said, like later on it gets a little bit easier as soon as Genji has a couple of talents up that do more damage when he uses it, and then also Tracer with Bullet Spray on level 13 allows it to be more efficient. Healing wise, we had a very good duel here. Anna also played much better and safer here, only 2 deaths, the lowest in the game actually, so very well played by her. I died too often. 7 deaths is way too often, but I also played pretty aggressively. As you can see, my hero damage is actually multiple times than what Ella has, which in some team fights can help you out if your support does a lot of damage. That being said, I played pretty safe at the beginning of the game, and then later on just started chasing things, which wasn't ideal. That's it for this game. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of back and forth on Infernal Shrines. I thought this was a very fun game, a lot of kills, a lot of interaction between the teams, and that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching and tuning in. If you made it so far, I hope you have a great start to the week tomorrow, and I see you next time. Bye bye.